So the question is, guys, is when we look at Watch Dogs Legion, what's been confirmed at this point in time is that there's a real emphasis on playing as anyone. There's an emphasis on co-op play. But it's being reported that Watch Dogs Legion is not going to really have any traditional multiplayer modes, which is something that if anyone over at Ubisoft is watching this video, and this, of course, this podcast, I really believe that there needs to be modes outside of co-op and, of course, the single-player campaign that are going to keep us coming back to the game after we beat the story. Now, there's been talk of an endgame content, which I'm not sure exactly what all that's going to be, if they're going to have other DLC and things of that nature. Is the endgame content going to be similar to The Division? It's hard to say. But all in all, I want to talk about the multiplayer modes here. So this is, of course, coming to us from Wikipedia, from Watch Dogs 2 and what the multiplayer had. So obviously, multiplayer returned, of course, in Watch Dogs 2. The game introduces a seamless cooperative multiplayer mode in which players can interact with other random players. They can explore the world and complete missions together, which will also help players to gain followers. So, Hacking Invasion was one of them, which was a 1 versus 1 competitive multiplayer mode originally featured in the first game, in which a player covertly joins another player's single-player session and steals virtual data from them. Then there was Bounty Hunter, a mode introduced in the game. If an online player creates too much chaos in the world, the mode will be initiated. Showdown is a mode added in an update. In this mode, 2 teams of 2 players battle each other in short missions. Then there's, of course, Racing, a mode added in an update. Up to 4 players compete in head-to-head races to reach the finish line with drones, e-carts, boats, and bikes, which Racing was really cool. In my personal opinion, Man vs. Machine, a mode added in an update. Up to 4 players work together to take down a machine in a narrow time frame. And then there's Loot Trucks, a mode added in an update. Up to 4 players compete in a head-to-head battle to steal a valuable box from a truck and escape the police and other players. Now, so we look at all those modes, guys, and what I gotta say is this. The modes are very unique, and that's something I love about Watch Dogs, just as a franchise. It's a unique game mode, or game modes, that are kind of specific to Watch Dogs in the Watch Dogs universe. Now, would I like there to be other modes where they're a little bit more traditional, like team deathmatch or something like that? Sure, I think that would be cool, but I love that there's a lot of creativity here. Now, with Watch Dogs Legion, the endgame content is the most intriguing to me. If this is something similar to like The Division, I think that there could be, lots and lots of hours to put into the game even after you're done beating the game. Now, how much they're updating the endgame content or how much they're, creating new game modes is another conversation, but honestly, guys, I would love them to bring some of these game modes back because I think it just adds to, even if you have endgame content and you have like new DLC that comes out and such, this still adds more to it. It kind of gives you that feeling like Hacking Invasion, okay? This was originally in the first game, came back with Watch Dogs 2. Hacking Invasion it's just one of those games that is known to the Watch Dogs franchise, or one of those game modes that's known to it. And so all I'm getting at is the more content that you put into the game is the more content that we can get out of it, that we can play and such. And sure, there's going to be some modes that are more popular than others. Maybe what Watch Dogs Legion and Ubisoft wants to do is they want everyone to play that endgame content and it becomes something like a Red Dead Online or a GTA Online or something of that nature where you're playing, you play these multiplayer modes within this world and it's consistently updated over time. Now, if they decide to do something like that, I'm sure that could work out really great. I just don't know exactly how they're planning on doing it. If that endgame content is going to be very similar to The Division. Is it going to be like Watch Dogs Online? What is it going to be exactly? All I can tell you guys is that from a outsider's perspective, and I know that the multiplayer in Watch Dogs 2 was not very popular. I mean, it's not something that people come back to consistently, so maybe they wanted to freshen it up with the endgame content and add new DLC as time goes with Watch Dogs Legion. But what I will tell you is this. This is more opportunity to connect with the franchise as a whole when Watch Dogs Legion does release. I just think that the more content you have, the better. We look at Call of Duty, for example, and sure, Call of Duty is a massive franchise, one of the biggest in the world, but what Call of Duty has done is they've added new modes throughout the course of time with their different games, and a lot of people thought, oh, this is going to split the fan base in multiple different directions, but what it did was, guys, it just gave you more options. It's not necessarily that because they added some new, some new game modes, or they added the BR, which is Warzone. It's not that everyone's playing the BR and then no one's playing the other multiplayer modes. No, there are still very much so a dedicated amount of people playing the other multiplayer modes. It's all about how you execute it. And so even if, let's just say, Watch Dogs Legion, they only brought back Hacking Invasion, at least there's something else that you can do outside of the end game content, outside of waiting for the DLC, outside of playing the campaign with your friends or with, by yourself. It just gives you more ways to connect with it. It helps content creators and streamers be able to create more content around it as well, because there's more ways to connect with the game outside of the co-op or the, just the single player story. Even having co-op modes where it's like PvE, where you're going up against the elements, like, having missions and such, co-op missions. I think all of that stuff really helps build something here. Watch Dogs reminds me at times of games like Grand Theft Auto, so having something that's like a GTA Online, I would be totally down with that. At the end of the day, though, guys, we just don't know what the endgame content is all going to encompass at this point, but I do think taking certain things from the past, kind of giving a kudos to the past, but also taking things from the past that worked and try to kind of, reflesh them out or kind of put them together in change them and kind of keep something similar but some things different, I think could really help some of these game modes. And I'm not saying that all of them should be returning to Watch Dogs Legion. I'm just saying that the more content that you put into Watch Dogs Legion, the more ways that we as a community can continue connecting with it, creating content, streaming, talking about it in the Reddit forums and things of that nature. So I think it's really important, guys. And if you ask me which multiplayer mode should return, I would say Hacking Invasion. I think something along the lines of racing. Each of them could have, modes within the overarching endgame content that could be like Watch Dogs Online or something. I think there's a lot of different ways that they could do it. I'm just hoping that there's plenty of ways to connect with Watch Dogs Legion after the credits roll in the campaign. But let me know, guys, in the comment section down below, which multiplayer modes would you want to return? What modes would you like to see, come at some point or another, for, Watch Dogs Legion? Let me know what you guys think, and let's have a real conversation about it.